Hello sweeties, today is another DIY video, and today I'm doing candle making. Yes, I know I've done a video before, but that was in glass jars. This time I'm using a proper latex mold, so it will be a little bit different, and I just want to show you the stuff first that I have started to prepare. So let me take you over. So here I have my double boiler. I have water, a stand and my jug ready. I will be putting on the hot water and filling the jug with wax to get that molten. Then I have here, excuse some of the mess on my table, I have here the wax poker, so where you make breathing holes for the wax. I have here my wick needle. I have here my wick stabilizer with peg. I have my wick. I have silicone oil, and I have my sealing mold sealer in here. This is my mold. This is the stand for my mold. It will fit in perfectly like that. You see, that fits in perfectly. That's my mold stand. And then, of course, last but not least, my soy wax. So that is all I will need. And now I don't know if I'm actually on the picture. Yes, I am. Whoops. And the camera's going again. So those are the things you will need if you're going to be doing it with a proper mold. And I will start by filling the wax, and I think each candle is, from memory, I think each candle takes half a kilo of wax. I think that's about right. So I will have to see whether I have to do it in little bits and pieces, because I haven't got anything bigger than that 2 litre jug. So that means 2 candles this will be for 2 candles worth. I am not using any scent and I'm not using any colouring today. I just want to have plain white candles. So I'll be back with you once the wax has molten. Whilst I've put the hob on to melt the wax, I actually first have to measure my wick. So I have thread in my wick, and I'm going to pierce that through my mold. So that I know how long my wick has to be. Oh, where's my scissors? Oh, here. And here are my scissors. And I'm going to leave a good measure. Let me see. As I'm going to be using this is going to be lying on top. So leave it a good measure, just to give it enough there. So that's the length of my wick, so I won't be using the wick again. Not for this one anyway. And to keep the needle safe, I always tape it back onto here. There. So now I'm going to be making 2 candles. This won't happen today because I only have 1 mold and it will take a day. So what I'm going to do is to keep this equal, I'm just going to measure another length of the wick and cut that off. Could you see that? Did you see that? I don't know. So now I have my 2 lengths of wick, and I'll be needing the needle later to thread it through. So just lay those out here. And my needle. Yes, and it is best if this is done on a piece of newspaper. I will be moving this actually down a little bit. So I'll actually have a tin in front of me. So maybe it's best to have the stuff on the side. Sometimes you just got to find your own method which is best for you. Just to make sure that if there's any spillage, it's going to go on the newspaper. Because it happened to me once where I knocked it over and went all over the floor. Man, oh man, that took ages to scrape off. Okay, so don't do that. In the meantime, the wax is starting to melt. Okay, I just want to show you, it's been on, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. And it's now slowly starting to melt. I don't know, can you see that? It's starting to liquefy at the bottom. So it does take quite a while. So I'm going to add some more wax to this, add it onto the top to fill this up. I had it filled to nearly the 1 liter mark. So I'm just going to keep filling this up until I've got it nearly full. So now you can see better how this is melting. I'm just poking a few holes into it so that the molten wax can also get into the middle of this. And I'm just breaking this up a bit, helping it along. Right, I need 2 hands for this, so I'm going to have to put the camera down. So whilst the last bits are melting, you need to go to the next step and you need to prime your latex or silicone mold with the silicone oil. So you need to get the silicone oil in there. And let me find my brush. I suppose I can do it without a brush. I don't know where my brush is. Anyway, just try to distribute that, which is going to be now a little bit more complicated with bare hands. You want to make sure that this has gone into all the nooks and crannies of the design, because that'll help release the wax. When the mold is put away after use, you always put a little bit of talcum powder in it. So when you oil this, you will see, because the talcum powder, the white of the talcum powder will be basically will be gone. So you make sure that all of it is as good as you can get it. In case there's a little bit of spill. Missed a little bit there. The more intricate the design is of your mold, the more you have to check and double check. You don't have missed bits, otherwise you're going to most probably rip the wax off. And it will be a horrible result, basically. It will be not a clean, nice result. Not that I've done this that often, but preparation is always everything in these kind of things. So this is a bit more complicated, this procedure. Okay. So I've siliconed my mold, so I won't be using that anymore either. I'm looking because I can't see where I put my... Right, so after that, as soon as the wax has molten a bit more, I'm going to prime my wick. I do one wick at a time, so I don't pre-do the other. Let me just wipe off my hands. Just show you once more. There you see it is nearly there, but not. So I'm going to wait. Oh my camera, sorry. I hope I'm not making you too seasick. Movement sick. So I'm going to wait till that is done, and then I'll show you how I prime the wick, and I'll show you how I pour everything and make sure everything is good. So I'll switch the double boiler off as soon as all the wax is molten. See you then. Alright, my wax has molten. I have turned this on super low. And now all I'm going to do is I'm taking my wick, dipping it into the wax and dipping it in again. Right, and it's primed with that. So some people take their fingers and wipe it down. I don't know if I can do that. See how hot it is, because this is super hot. Yeah, okay, so that's primed. So I'm leaving the wax in there, and I'm taking you over with me, and sorry for the falling. So let me just put you down. Sorry, I'm doing this with one hand because I have wax on the other now. So, okay. So here's my Oops, the camera's all skew. There you go. Okay, here's my primed wick. I'm going to once again thread that. In the meantime, I have my boiler on super low. I don't want to shut it off completely. So here's my... So I'm threading it back through. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I want to leave quite a bit of wick at the top as well. Right, the next step is safety first. Put the needle aside. Away is now I need to seal the top. With some mastic. For this is best if you just hold on to, give a little bit of support from the inside and just seal that off. So there, I've sealed that. Now I will be needing this. And I will be needing my little wick holder. And what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to roll this down and have a little bit of tension onto it and keep it as straight as possible in the middle. Close off my mastic so it doesn't dry out. Put that away for the minute. Keep my second wick for tomorrow on the side. Now I need my little peg and just peg that down to make sure that stays. Now I need my oven glove because the hot wax is coming now. Switching the hob off. And now let me just adjust the camera a little bit. Oopsie. This camera is driving me crazy. This stand is just not wanting to work properly. I'm sorry for that, guys. The screw just won't. Right. Now, I'm just pouring this in. I hope I've made enough. Right, now I've got to think, do I want a plinth or don't I want a plinth? I think I don't, because that way I won't use up so much wax. So this wax will be left for tomorrow. I will put it back into the double boiler, and whilst it's warm, add some more for tomorrow. or I can leave it. It doesn't really matter. So now what's going to happen is I will actually, no, not, I won't add more. I'll just keep it on low. Keep it warm for as long as possible, because with this I'm going to have to make breathing holes. And I'll show you close up. So I've poured it right to the rim, the lower rim down there. And I will have to, as it cools down, it will need breathing holes. So I'll put holes in, make sure that all the bubbles are out. No air. You can shake it round a bit, then the air rises. And then you need to top up. You will need to top up. So when it's got cold enough for that, I will show you. Okay, I didn't check the time, but it's been about hour and a half, and it's slowly cooling. And as you can see, it's also dipping. Let me just show you that up close. So you can see it's dipping, so we will need to now refill and start making the holes. Right, I have just put on, sorry, that's my fingers. I have just put on the wax again, because the wax now needs to be hotter than it was before. Okay, so now first the holes, and you make the holes here. Okay. Because that's the way it will then rebond. If it's not hot enough, you'll just get funny layers that will come apart in the wax itself when the candle burns. So the holes need to be fairly big, because you want to pour the wax into them. And that also keeps the wick straight, by the way. So I'm just waiting now for the wax to get hot enough. Okay, so the wax is now hot enough. I'm getting my oven glove to pull out the jug again. Ooh. Ooh. And it's truly steaming. It is steaming. So, and now I'm just going to fill up into those holes. And it doesn't take a lot. And I'm tapping so that there's no air bubbles. Okay, let's put a little bit more. And put this back into the hot water. You might have to do this a few times. That will depend on a few things. So we'll let that dry. I'll let that dry now again, as in set, not dry, set. Let the wax set. Let's just make sure my wick is still there, thereabouts in the middle. Yep. Okay, and we'll let that set and then do it again. We will see if I need to. I'll be back with you. Okay, I think my candle is ready to be peeled off. I've lifted it out. It feels hard to the touch on the outside. Be careful, don't press too much because it might be still a bit soft in the inside. So what I'm going to do next is unravel this, pull this out. Right. And now gently we've got to peel the latex off. For that I'm going to use some fairy liquid. In my case it's NPD. Lightly spray the outside. And it doesn't matter if it goes all over the newspaper. Right, and now gently peel this back. The candle won't be able, you won't be able to use the candle, by the way, for a few days. It'll take another couple of days to harden properly. Now, where's my, I need, for holding purposes, I need my towel. Right, so I'm just gently going to pull this off. Okay, this is not so easy. Not easy at all. I don't want to damage. I don't want to damage this too much. Actually, I'll take the mastic off as good as I can first. This is a messy business. Messy business. So I'm taking the mastic off simply because I don't want it stuck to everything. Okay. Get some more soap in there. It just makes it slide better. Okay. And oh, I need to sit down for this. Oops. Gently, gently pushing it through. And it's still a bit warm in the middle, you can feel it. So be gentle with your candle. And there we have it. If you want to decorate your candle or paint it, then you have to definitely wait a couple of days. Okay, this one's not completely perfect. I have a few bubbles on the top, so it might spit a tiny little bit. I don't know, we will see when it comes to burning time. So I'm just going to put my candle down and let it. I'm going to put my candle on here and just leave it like that for a couple of days. Then I'm going to cut the wick off at the bottom, not at the top. I'm going to leave it. So there it is. There's the finished candle. To use this again, you have to redo the silicone and the mastic and redo the silicone in here. So you turn it inside out. Again, go through the whole procedure once more. And yeah. Basically, that's all you have to do. So I'll make another 3 of these, and to get 3 of those. 4 of those, 3 more, 4 of those. I want 4 candles in total. So there you go, that's another way of doing it. And thumbs up if you like this. And I'll speak to you later. Bye.